Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And the topic I'm going to be doing for this video is I'm going to be discussing a classic television show. Previously, I reviewed the TV show Seinfeld, and I totally blasted it, and rightfully so, as being one of the worst television shows of all time, not one of the best ones. And the TV guy picked Seinfeld over the show I'm going to be discussing in this video, and that is the classic TV show All in the Family, which aired on CBS from 1971. As a matter of fact, I think it aired approximately about 5 or 6 months before I was even born. So I literally grew up on this show. And the subsequent spin-off, Archie Bunker's Place, which I'm also going to be discussing if I have time for it. The original show, All in the Families, of course, stars the family, the Bunkers, starred Carol O'Connor, G. Stapleton, who recently died last year, Rob Reiner, piece of crap, and Sally Struthers. Well, at that time, Sally Struthers was kind of hot at that time. And of course, there was the four of them with Rob Reiner playing Archie Bunker's son-in-law was a liberal weenie. And the funny thing is, he is a liberal idiot in real life, which is a scary thing. And of course, Sally Struthers plays Archie Bunker's daughter, Gloria, called little girl, by Archie. And of course, Michael, who was always called Meathead, dead from the neck up, by Archie because he had such a liberal idiot. And of course, Edith played, G. Stapleton played Archie's wife. Edith was always called a dingbat, was always kind of simple, naive, and simple-minded. She always went on these long stories about stupid relatives, and then she would always somehow do the right thing. Maybe do about it wrong, but somehow always works out in the end for her, most of the time. But in a series, of course, All in the Family would not be made today. And these political correct, Al Sharpton protesting everything culture, it won't even last 2 episodes. Because the content of the show with Archie always spouting off, especially in the earlier seasons, spouting off all these racial epitaphs, calling blacks the ace of spades, the specs, the Hispanics, the queers, with homosexuals, against Jews, against blacks, Hispanics, Chinese, Ching, you're going from Chinks or Japs, or Hispanics. He targeted everybody. He was dubbed America's favorite bigot. And well, like I said, today the show won't even be on the air today because it's too politically correct of a culture today on television. That's why the show at that time, 1971, it was even controversial then. And a lot of people were writing in or calling the CBS asking people to get the show off the air because it was too close to home, particularly to white people. But All in the Family, it broke a lot of ground because it dealt with subject matters that weren't even dealt with on another television show. It was like two goody shows prior to that time. I mean, the only other time where you have a show that might have been controversial to begin with was maybe the Brady Bunch, because they had two people who were either divorced or the siblings or the spouse died or something. Either one got divorced or the spouse had died, and the two people met and married, and each one had 3 kids. And so you had a kind of stepbrothers and stepsisters type of stuff in the beginning of the Brady Bunch. And it was also the first show to show a married couple sleeping in the same bed, which wouldn't really happen before. But on the Family, it was controversial because of the topics and all the racial epitaph on Archie Bunker would fall off. Like I said, today the show wouldn't be on the air today, but it's been on reruns for like 40 years. So, so it's influential in a lot of ways and dealt with subjects that never dealt before. Because the Vietnam War was still going on at that time, so you have Mike, me, had the liberal idiot that he was then, and he is now in real life, protesting the Vietnam War, going on protests. And there's one episode where he did go out on protest, and Archie was asked to get him because the cops were arresting everybody in sight, and Archie was the one that ended up getting arrested. So there's one episode, but also dealt with rape. Gloria got attacked in one episode, but he didn't really see the attack. Unlike years later, when Edith was attacked and almost raped on television. As a matter of fact, the actor who played that character, I think his name was ironically David Dukes, no relation to the KKK guy, or Ku Klux Klan guy. He, for about 4 or 5 years, he couldn't even get a job in acting because he did a stage play, and the people in the audience recognized him for the Edith's almost getting raped episode, or I think it was titled Edith's 50th birthday. You can see that on YouTube. I think you can find that on YouTube. People booed him, literally booed him off the stage or throwing stuff at him because what he did to Edith in the episode. Mind you, he was acting. He was only an actor playing a part, but people took the show so seriously that he couldn't get it. He had a tough time. I don't think he ever worked in television again in guest starring role because of that episode. But I had several other outstanding episodes of that series. There was one where after the Vietnam War had ended, and Mike brought home a friend of his who was a draft dodger. It was Christmas time, and Archie brought home a friend of his named Pinky. He was like a recurring character, guy who always used to call pranks on Archie. He lost his son in Vietnam. So you have a guy who lost his son in Vietnam having dinner, Christmas dinner with a guy who was a draft dodger. So you had that thing, and Archie went, nuts. And his tirade was, way up there. And I don't know if you want an Emmy for that episode, Carol O'Connor, but it was, terrific reaction from him, and rightly so, because the guy did draft him. Started to draft. So he wanted to fight in the Vietnam War, but Archie went nuts over it. One of the other famous episodes, so an episode that was also very powerful, was one where somebody painted a swastika on Archie's door. And of course it had to be with a Jewish guy down the block, and they got the house, and the guys who did that got the houses mixed up. But of course at the end of the episode there was like this Jewish defense group. It wasn't JDL, it was some other group, and they were protecting Archie, and one of the other guys said, "Hey, this is the wrong house. I know that, but they don't know. This is what they do now." So the guy who was in Archie's house says, "Okay, I'm going to go protect the real guy." And the Jewish defense guy got blown up in his car. Well, he was blown up in his car. So you had that episode. You also had one of the most famous scenes that's been repeated often was the Sammy Davis Jr. episode. Of course, he always made tracks with blacks, so he's a great entertainer, and he made this big conversation with him being, black and stuff. And Archie says, "When did you decide to turn Jew? When did you turn Jew?" Because the truth of the matter was that Sammy Davis Jr. married his wife at the time, and his wife was Jewish, so he converted for her. That was the story. So you have that joke. And of course the scene ended with Sammy Davis Jr. kissing Archie on the cheek. Of course years later, when All in the Family became Archie Bunker's place, Sammy Davis came back on the show, and Archie got even with Sammy Davis by kissing him. Uh, so Archie got even with him. I guess over the years it became a thing that he got killed by something. The most famous bigot got killed by a black guy on TV. So he got even with him on the show. Of course, after 7 years, I think 7 or 8 years, Gloria and Mike left the show because his character got a promotion to go to California. But when the episode that earlier, I think the same season or the year before, or the season before, Mike was up against the promotion to go to Minnesota, not to California at that time. And he was up against the same job with a black colleague. So of course, guess who got the job? The black guy got the job over him, because the other guy was black, and of course Mike was white. So of course when Archie found out about it, see, that's why I told you that you shouldn't help the blacks all those years, because I told you this type of thing is going to happen. The blacks are going to claim racism if they don't get a job, and that's what happened to you. Now you believe what I'm saying is true. Mike finally came to realize that Archie wasn't as an idiot, or a bigoted idiot that he was all those years. And that's true. That's exactly what was happening then, and still going on even today. So you had that. So I thought when Mike and Gloria left the series, I thought that was the end of the series altogether. After I think 7 or 8 years. But then CBS decided to renew the show for an 8th season. And of course, what they're going to do is just have stuff with just Edith and Archie. With this, they brought in Danielle Bourgeois, I believe, Bourgeois, what the last name is pronounced, to play Edith and Archie's niece, Steffi. Because Edith's cousin Floyd, who was a bump, was a drunk, who was a drug addict, and I think he was a drug addict as well, but mostly a drunk, left his daughter, Steffi, at that door, and he just left. And of course, she stayed on through not only that whole season, but when the show became Archie Bunker's Place, he had a pivotal role in Archie Bunker's Place. And excuse me, I think she stayed on the show for 5 years. The 4 years there was Archie Bunker's Place, and the 1 year, and the last official year of All in the Family. But stuff with Steffi, I thought was great. And for those who novices out there, Danielle Bourgeois, who played Steffi, was in the original production of Annie. Because there was a clip of her when they had Broadway's Lost Treasures, I think it was. They showed Annie, and she played one of the orphans. And she played Steffi, the niece, and I thought she was a cute little kid who turned out to be a mega babe by the end of Archie Bunker's Place was. And she had some good stuff with Archie, and they found out when Steffi was actually Jewish, because her mother was Jewish, or Steffi's mother was Jewish, so it means the child was Jewish. Under Jewish law, the mother was Jewish, the child was Jewish. And it was the same thing for most religions, actually. They go by whatever the mother is. So when Archie found out that she was Jewish, he got enrolled into a synagogue for a Hebrew school. And then eventually when it was Archie Bunker's Place, he had a bat mitzvah, which is one of the better episodes of Archie Bunker's Place. So when they had that, they decided to change the form to more of the bar. One of the better episodes they did have, on the very last official episode of All in the Family, was when Edith had phlebitis and was told not to keep up her feet. Meanwhile, Archie kept her cooking for St. Patrick's Day party he was going to have at the bar. But Edith didn't have the nerve to tell Archie that she had the problem when she told her to stay off her feet. And she almost died over it. And the doctor was played by Dr. Shapiro. He was in another episode earlier when Steffi had appendix taken out. So he was established already. So the doctor was throwing Archie out, and he says, and Archie says to the doctor, "What the hell does she have? What the hell does she have? What kind of medical advice is that? For not to cook? Why does he have that she can't cook?" "Well, she didn't tell you." I said, "No." So the doctor told him, and so I'm sorry, and he goes, "Please don't tell my father," because his father was also a doctor. But that was the last official episode. That became Archie Bunker's place, and you had this whole stuff with the boar. And of course, that was also the last season that Jean Stapleton played in Bunker, because she got tired of playing the role. Contrary to the role she had on the show, she was a very smart, intelligent woman, but she got typecast as playing an idiot on television. Dingbat, hey, there goes Dingbat, So she told Norman Lear that after this season, or the first season of Archie Bunker's place, she wanted out. And she says, "Well, you're like family to me." I said, "Well, you're like real to me." Norman Lear says to Edith and Archie and all that. And Jean Stapleton says to him, "Well, she's not real to me. She's a fictional character, and I'm tired of playing this character. I'm tired of playing an idiot on television." So, the first episode of the second season of Archie Bunker's Place is called Archie Alone. And of course, when it's the episode when she died, she didn't even actually have a death scene. But it's also one of the more powerful episodes of the entire Archie Bunker franchise, or one family franchise, of her dying. And of course, Archie was sleeping on the couch, was sleeping upstairs, and of course, he had the scene at the end where Archie broke down and cried, saying, "I wish I, could tell you one more time that how much I love you." And he broke down and cried, holding the slipper that was left behind when they took all the clothes out and emptied all the drawers and stuff. And now he has to be Steffi alone. And later on in that season, they did have a grandmother came in, played by Celeste Holm, who was a great Broadway actress. And they were fighting over custody over Steffi, and Archie, of course, won the custody. But for the third season of the series, you had the Steffi bat mitzvah, and I'm trying to find that episode on YouTube, and I can't find it. Because Steffi's father comes back and he stole money, because I think the grandmother gives Steffi a money tree, or a tree with money all over its branches, and Floyd took all the money. And I thought that was a very good episode because of, you heard, many times you heard Steffi sing because she had to sing the prayers for the bar mitzvah, or bar mitzvah, whatever the case may be. And of course, actually, she could sing. And you had that episode. You also had episodes where Archie's niece, Billy, came to live with Archie for a while, for the last two seasons. And I don't know who the actress who played Billy, but I thought she was gorgeous. I mean, she was just as beautiful as Steffi was when she got older. And you say I know who played the part, but she was hot. I don't know who she was. Anybody who knows, please comment down. She was hot. She was gorgeous, this actress. But she was also very good in the part. You also had an episode where the daughter of Billy reunited with Archie's brother. And also you had Maurice Porter, Martin Blossom, who also was a great character actor, playing the partner. But in terms of a series, so for some reason it wasn't as successful as All in the Family, because I guess people got tired of the character. But I think All in the Family had a lot of spin-offs. I already mentioned one already, Archie Bunker's Place, but also there was a spin-off for the Jeffersons. spin-off of Maud, and you had Gloria. So you had, I think we have 4 spin-offs total. The series Happy Days, which I did reviews of earlier, also had a lot of spin-offs. You see, you had Laverne and Shirley, you had Mork and Mindy, you had Jolene Loves Chachi. I think you had like 3. I think All in the Family has the most spin-offs of any other show. Even the spin-off had a spin-off, which is All in the Archie Bunker's Place had a spin-off for Gloria. So you have that, but in terms of watching All in the Family and then Archie Bunker's Place, I mean, you're not missing out. Even though those were shows, of that time, they should have been named higher than Seinfeld. Seinfeld should never have been picked number 1 by TV Guide as a greatest sitcom ever. I'm sorry. You pass All in the Family over Seinfeld, or I Love Lucy, or The Honeymooners over Seinfeld. I don't want to Seinfeld, man. To pass those shows over Seinfeld, you have to be drinking. You have to have drinking the funny water to pick Seinfeld over that. Younger people will pick Seinfeld. Those who grew up watching Seinfeld, now you're going to pick that over any other sitcom from the 70s, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s. But don't overlook you have to overlook all the racial stuff to see how great of the show this really is. And so that's my review of All in the Family. Please watch the video, please click on it, please rate it, please feel free to comment on it, subscribe to my channel, and please pass this video along to you on your Facebook pages. And thanks for watching.